Hello my lovelies and welcome to our next Junior Church video. Again, if you don't know me, my name is Natalie and I'm from Legacy Church in Walsall. I'm part of the kids team. Now we're going to start this week finding out all about the miracles of Jesus. So we're going to be looking through the Bible. Do you think we'll find them in the New Testament or the Old Testament? These are the miracles that Jesus performed when he was here on earth. So would it be the Old Testament or the New? Right, it'd be the New. Well done. So this week we are going to look at the story of Jesus feeding the multitude. What's a multitude, you might ask? Well, it's a big crowd. It's lots and lots and lots of people, more than we could possibly imagine. Now the story in my Bible here, I've got a 1-minute children's Bible. This is really old and it's what one of my boys had when they were little. I've always kept it. It's got some lovely little points inside for each day. So in here it's called The Meal That Multiplied. Now we know, don't we, from going to school, that when something multiplies, it grows, it gets bigger. And you'll be able to find this in Matthew chapter 9. Okay. It says, when Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick. Now he didn't land in an aeroplane, did he? He must have been out at sea or maybe on Lake Galilee, because that's where they seem to be to do a lot of fishing. And he landed on the shore. So he had compassion on people and he healed the sick. Now that's another miracle we'll have to find out about at some point. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "Send the crowds away so that they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." So they wanted to send them home. They were quite keen for those to just leave them now. Jesus had done all that he needed to do. That's what they felt. And so he wanted them to send them away and they could just eat together in their small group and people could go home and eat. But Jesus, he replied, "You give them something to eat." "We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them here to me," he said. And taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and he broke the loaves. So he tore bits off the bread. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. Wow, 5,000 men, that's not including their wives, that's not including their children, all their families. Oh my goodness. What a miracle, just from loaves and fishes. Who would have thought it? And he made so much that people had enough to eat and there was some left over. Now we can think about this with food. We can also think about this with Jesus filling us up with what we need. He gives his peace, he gives his love, he gives us his reassurance, he gives us his help. But you know what? He never gives us everything that he's got because there's no end to him. So there's always some left over. Whatever we ask for, he would never say, "Look, you've had enough for today." Never, because there's always some left over. What a fab story. And I bet that no one was more surprised that day than the disciples, because even though they were part of Jesus' life, they spent days and evenings and probably nights with him, even them, I think, would have been surprised at what Jesus had done. To see these few loaves and fishes multiply before their very eyes and turn into enough food, wow. Absolutely brilliant for them to see and for the people who were following him. No wonder people were so drawn to Jesus when he was here. No wonder he didn't send them away. "I've had enough of you for today." go and get yourself something to eat and maybe I'll see you about tomorrow. No, they didn't want to leave him and he didn't want them to go. So he gave them what they wanted and what they needed, and that was to spend time in his presence and food to eat. Now, in my Bible here, it's asking for you to draw something besides food that you think Jesus could multiply. Look. Can you see that there? Draw something that you think Jesus could multiply. What do you think? What else do you think he could multiply? Now remember, the little note at the bottom, there's always a remember note in this Bible as well, which I absolutely love. It says, remember, Jesus takes good care of his followers. So just as I'd said with the people who didn't want to leave him, the crowds weren't ready to disperse, that means to go away. They wanted to stay in his presence. How lovely that he just allowed them to do that, because he takes good care of his followers. Think about something else other than food that Jesus could multiply. And I want you also to think about the other miracles that Jesus has performed. What else can you think of that he has done? What other miracle stories do you already know? Now don't forget, you can find out more about this in Matthew chapter 9, and in here it's verse 36. You can also look in Matthew 14 verse 14, Matthew 14 verse 18, Matthew 14 verse 19 and Matthew 14 verse 20. So have a read of it, talk about this with your parents or with an adult in your house, whoever it is, and just have a think about what else could Jesus multiply, what else could he make greater, what else could he give you more of, something that you need other than food. Have a fabulous week. Stay safe, and I will see you all back here again next Sunday. Bye for now.